Untitled. Cahokia Native Americans. Strategic Settlement and Mounds. The city of Cahokia, located at the convergence of the Mississippi, Missouri, and Illinois rivers, was the center of a massive trading network. Placing their city in this location provided easy access to trade routes and fertile lands, which supported both commerce and agriculture. In their cities and towns, the Cahokia people constructed mounds that held great significance. These mounds served as platforms for temples, elite residences, and ceremonial sites, forming the core of their religious and social practices. Jamestown Colony. Challenges, survival, and tobacco. Founded in 1607, this colony faced many challenges in its early years. Disease, starvation, and conflicts with Native Americans posed serious threats. However, the colony persevered due to the introduction of tobacco cultivation and the leadership of John Smith. Tobacco emerged as a cash crop that brought economic stability to Jamestown, saving it from collapse. African slavery and indentured servitude. The arrival of forced labor in 1619, the first African slaves arrived in Jamestown, marking a turning point in American history. These individuals were subjected to chattel slavery, a dehumanizing practice that treated them as property. Simultaneously, indentured servants entered the scene. These individuals agreed to work for a specific period in exchange for passage to America and eventual freedom. They were promised land at the end of their contract. Puritans and Democratic congregations. Literacy and democracy. The Puritans, driven by their belief in reading the Bible, valued literacy as a means of personal connection with their faith. Their congregations, where groups gathered for worship, embodied democratic ideals by granting members a voice in making group decisions. This included the selection of ministers and created a sense of democratic power. Economic motivations and structures. Southern and Northern colonies. Economic aspirations played a significant role in shaping the Southern and Northern colonies. The Southern colonies thrived on agriculture, cultivating cash crops like tobacco, rice, and indigo, which fueled economic growth. Conversely, the Northern colonies boasted a diverse economy rooted in fishing, shipbuilding, and small-scale farming, catering to varied industries. Northern colonies were settled primarily by groups seeking religious freedom and a chance to worship as they wanted. Colonists in Southern colonies concentrated on making money and becoming rich. Wars and conflict. King Philip's War and Pequot War. King Philip's War and the Pequot War spotlight conflicts over land and had devastating consequences for indigenous populations. The English motivation behind these wars was rooted in securing land, resources, and asserting control over Native American territories. At the end of these wars, most of the Native Americans had been driven out of New England. Transatlantic slave trade and Middle Passage. The transatlantic slave trade wrought unimaginable devastation upon African societies. Guns were given to evil people in exchange for slaves. These people used their guns to get more slaves to trade for more guns and used their weapons to take control of West African communities. Chattel slavery stripped individuals of humanity, deeming them property for trade. Enslaved Africans endured unimaginable horrors during the Middle Passage, grappling with overcrowding, disease, malnutrition, and abuse. Slave ships were packed as tight as they could be to fit more people. The ceilings below decks were barely 4 feet tall. Triangle trade and mercantilism. The triangle trade involved the movement of goods and people between Europe, Africa, and the Americas. Raw materials like sugar and tobacco flowed from the Americas to Europe, while manufactured goods like guns and cloth journeyed from Europe to Africa. Manufactured goods were also sent back to America. Enslaved Africans became a tragic commodity transported from Africa to the Americas. This trade system bolstered mercantilism, which saw the mother country benefiting from colonies' resources and markets. England was the mother country. Bacon's Rebellion. Causes and consequences. Bacon's Rebellion, fueled by resentment against the Virginia governor, conflicts with Native Americans, and economic struggles faced by small farmers, marked a significant shift. Former indentured servants, less by Bacon, were angry that they were not given the land that was promised them. As a result, the Virginia colony shifted towards African slavery, finding enslaved people easier to control than indentured servants. Enslaved people were also much cheaper. In this journey through early American history, we traverse strategic settlements, economic pursuits, religious ideals, and the harsh realities of slavery and conflict. The intricate tapestry of these stories underscores the complex and multifaceted nature of America's origins. By studying these stories, we learn from the past and pave the way for a better future.